and welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to swatch with you the honey-based handmade watercolors from Gallo with the dot card set that they now have available. I got this a while ago and it's just been sitting there for a few reasons. So it came in this gorgeous folder, by the way, and each one of these dot cards had a sheet on top, and then it was in a plastic cover. I mean, they go all out with packaging. But the reason I was kind of holding off on it was I was going to start adding these into my comparison videos. But then I decided I wanted to kind of play around with the dot cards first. So that's what I'm going to do. It's a really nice paper, I'm not gonna lie. Ooh, on the back of this one, it looks like they kind of talk about their range of colors, 80 total, handmade in Italy. I've always wanted to try these, and for the longest time it was either their website or Etsy you could get them, but now they've partnered up with Jackson's, which makes it a lot easier to get a hold of them. They are not cheap though. That's why when I saw the dot cards, I was like, oh yes, bring that to me. So I thought we could kind of go through, activate these dots, see what they're like. Now they do have all the pigment info. So yeah, let me just get them set up. I'm just going to use my usual number 8 silver black velvet. I'm going to go ahead and do the swatch right here on the paper. I like to just do them on the dot card. I know a lot of people move it to paper. I'm just pure lazy. I usually just activate a small part of it and kind of do it off to the side. I may even activate it and do it over the name just to kind of test transparency. And then that way I can use what's left of the dot for comparison videos if I add these in. Let me know if you want to see them added in. The reason I ask is it's not a paint that's as easy to get as others. So I'm always curious. But let me get set up and we can get swatching in real time. Okay, one thing I did do is I usually go through and put a dab of water on each one, and then I do that row and move on. So let's grab some of this buff titanium PW61. So it should be a little bit opaque. Now we have their lemon yellow PY3. Ooh, that's really pretty actually. Lemon yellow permanent, which is PY84. I like that one too. Azo yellow gold. They do have pretty generous dots, and I think I'll be able to reactivate these well. So that's PY151, PY43. Then we have a royal yellow. Just get a little of that picked up. PY154. Ooh, that one's lovely. Indian yellow. PY110. PY154. I like that too. Aranson. I'm gonna butcher that name. This is PY83, PV19, PR101. Wow, that's a mouthful. Kind of reminds me of Autumn Orange from Magello. Hokkaido Orange, PY216. Some of the dots, I will say, they're a little inconsistent with how much paint we're getting. Some are quite flat, others are a little beefier. Vermilion red, PR255. Ooh, I like that one. Then we have Medici red, PR168. I like that one too. Scarlet red, very interested in this. I'd like to do a comparison. PR254, wow. Look at the vibrancy of that one. That's quite impressive. Ruby red, oh, PR264. Oh, let's get a little more picked up there. Oh, that is beautiful. It's a gorgeous blood red. Okay, then we have Alizarin Crimson Hue. I just did a comparison on the Alizarin Red series. This was not in it, obviously. Theirs is PR 177, PR 144, and PV 19. It's a lot of colors. Permanent Carmine. Oh, yes. Beautiful carmine color. Quinacridone Magenta. I think I've compared Quinacridone Magenta. PR 122. Yep, I recall the pigment number more than anything else. Ultramarine Pink. PR 259. This one is not really activating very well. It's kind of an unimpressive color too. Could be because it wasn't activating, or I'm not sure on that one, but Pietro Rosa, PR 233, PV 19, PV 16. It's kind of an interesting, probably wouldn't buy that color to be honest. All right, Potter's Pink. This one's really flat, so I'm hoping I can get something. PR 233. Interesting, Potter's Pink. Rose Madder NR9. Okay, this one may need a little bit more time. Then we have our Dragon's Blood NR31. These ones are pretty stubborn. You can definitely see the minerals in them. I'm curious if they activate easier in the tins. Sometimes dot cards are just temperamental. Quinacridone Violet, PV 55. There we go. Yeah, it seems like their specialty ones are temperamental. Mineral Violet, ooh, PV 16. This is kind of it's a cold pressed watercolor paper. It's got some good grooves though. Tyrian Purple, PV 15, PV 16. Interesting one. Ultramarine Violet, PV 15. That's what's mixed in right next door there. Still pretty. Okay, Dioxazine Violet. This is one I wanted to do a comparison video on. There's just not enough brands that have it, I think. PV 37, by the way. Nocturno, PV 29, PR 101, and PV 19. Ooh, that's a gorgeous, like wine-ish color. Zirconium Blue. I don't think I've seen PB 71 in a while. No, I have. I had to think on that. Cerulean Hue, PB 15.3, PW 4, PB 29. So this is going to be opaque. It's not bad though. And I like how next to it they have transparent cerulean for those of us that don't want white. We got PB 15.3. Oh gosh, look at it as it just activates already. I'm in love with this color. That is beautiful. Blues are some of my favorite to swatch. I don't know why. They're like magic. Magic on a brush. So Azuro, PB 29 and PB 15.3. Look at that one. Now we have Yenmin Blue, PB 86. It's probably meant to be said a different way, so I'm sure we'll get some corrections in the comments for that one. Lapis Lazuli. Ooh, it's genuine lapis lazuli. That's pretty. Okay, Ultramarine Blue Dark, PB29. Oh, that's lovely too. Not as impressive as those ceruleans. Periwinkle. Oh, this is a mouthful. So we have PB15-1, PB29, PW6, PR122. So this is going to be very opaque. And it is Midnight Blue, PB15-1 and PBK9. Ooh, yep, yep. I saw just while mixing the dot how gorgeous that was going to be. All right, Indian Throne Blue, PB60. So they do have a lot of single pigment colors, which is always a nice thing to see. Really, when I have to inhale just to say the color names or color pigments, it's a lot. Okay, Copper Blue. Oh, here we go. Example. PW4, PG7, PB15-3, PY3. I mean, it's a beautiful color, but I probably wouldn't buy it simply because of how many pigments are in that one. Teal Blue, PB15-3, PG7, and PW6. So again, more opaque colors. Aquamarine, PB15-4, PG7, and PB29. Ooh, I like that one, even though it's a mouthful. Harbor Blue, PB15-3, and PBR8. Ooh, this is going to be pretty. I can already tell. Look at that. Oh, it's like the murky water. Dark Forest, PG7, PBK7, PY43. Oh yeah, that PBK7, you can really tell. Forest Green, PG7, PBK7, and PY43. Just a little lighter. I like it though. All right, Viridian Hue. PG7, PB29. It'd be fun to do a Viridian comparison. It'd be similar to Alizarin Crimson where you'll have hues and whatnot though. Deep Sea Green, PG18, PB29. It's an interesting color. Don't know if it'd be one I'd buy. Earth Green Cool, PG23. This one is, I can feel, not quite. And that reminds me of the My Merry Blue color, and I just can't think of the name. Malachite Hue, Amazonite, PG13, PW4, and PY3. This is going to be a pretty opaque. Spring Green, PG7, PY184, PB29. That's what I would expect for spring green, to be honest. Phthalo Green Light. This is PY184 and PG37, or 36, sorry. Wow, they should call it Green Bright. Okay, now we have Fig Green, PY151, and PG17. I like it because I love those olivey greens, but I don't think I would buy it. I mean, with the price point of this particular brand. Sap Green, oh my gosh. PY83, PG36, PB19, PR101, and it is very thick. Almost has a chalky feel. I don't like their sap green at all. It doesn't even look like a sap green. We'll see how it is when it dries, of course, but Chromium Oxide, PG17. It's going to be pretty opaque. Olive Green Deep is PY154, PY110, PB29. Ugh. I'm thinking of the olive greens from Roman Schmal, which I love, and this is nothing like it. It's earthy though. Speaking of that, Green Earth Warm PG23. This one's not. Let's try the indigo green next to it for now, and then we'll get this one in a minute. I'm dabbing the water and taking a little break before I actually come to each thing, so they have time, but NY2, NB1, some of these are just not really impressed with those ones. Perhaps it's just me. All right, Green Earth Warm, PG23. Nope, that is what you're gonna get from the dot card. All right, Buckthornberry Green. This is an NG color again, so NG2. I'm really not enjoying these NG ones. Oh, that is not the color I expected at all. And that one doesn't really activate very well. Green Gold, that's one I want to do a comparison on. PY150, P184, PG36. And it's interesting how much paint you get of some of these, and then others are just so flat. I don't know if I'll get enough to even reactivate. French Ochre Sahara. This is PY43. It's not too bad. Let's see, Verdaccio, PBR7, PBK11. This will be an interesting color. And definitely murky. Not a brown I would typically buy. Green Umber, PBR8. I'm actually glad they have dot cards because a lot of these are colors I had thought of trying and now I'm not. Jarosite, oops, a little part of my sticky up there. I'm gonna have to get my tweezers and get it out. PY43. It's a rather unimpressive one. Okay, Gold Ochre, PY43. Most of the ones on this page are pretty flat, and the amount of paint you get, by the way. Moroccan Yellow Ochre, PY43 as well. I like that one better though, even though it's a series 2. Raw Sienna, PY43 also. We have a Raw Sienna Badia, PY43, a Series 2 paint. Again, I like that one better. Then we have Yellow Ochre Burgundy, PY43. Imagine if I did a whole PY43 series, like we'd have a ton from them just alone. I would say out of all the PY43s, even though they look different, I'm enjoying the Raw Sienna version. Alright, Quinacridone Gold. That would be a fun comparison one to do. PY150, PR101, PV19. Not bad. Then we have Transparent Red Oxide. PR101. It's really rusty in a good way. Castile Orange, PR102 and PY43. Let's see, Ercolano Red, PR102, PR101. Kind of curious on this one. Ooh, I like that one. Probably hear all the trucks going by. Burnt Sienna, Mount Amiata, PBR7. I like it, but it's not activating super well on their dot card. Sartorio Red, PR102. And then we have Venetian Red, PR102. Okay, Hematite, PR102. This is why when I do pigment comparisons, it might be a longer video, because there's a lot of paints with the same pigment numbers, but totally different variation. Leighton Red Ochre, PR 102. Point example there. Morellone, I'm sure I'm pronouncing some of these incorrectly. They're Italian. PR 101. Ooh, that color though. Very nice. Perline Maroon. PR 179. Oh wow. I like that one. Beautiful fall color. Burnt Umber Cypress, PBR 8. Burnt Umber Brownish, PBR 8. That's an interesting one. All right. Burnt Umber Dark, PBR 7. It's interesting. It's definitely dark. Chromite Brown, FECR 204, PBR 8. You don't see that very often. It's actually a nice color. Don't know if I would buy it though. Meteorite Brown, Chondrites Genuine. Ooh, okay, well, let's see what we get here. It's kind of a murky color. It's one of those browns you almost mix yourself by accident. Oops. Okay, Sepia, PBK9, PBR 7. I don't think I've done a sepia comparison yet, have I? I don't think so. That's a pretty one though. Indigo, NB1. Ooh. Let's see what their indigo has to offer. Oh, that's beautiful. Gorgeous, actually. All right, and then they got Payne's Gray right next to it. PB 15-1, PBK 7, and PB 19. Oh, that's a beautiful, beautiful Payne's Gray. All right, Vivianite Genuine. Okay, we'll have to kind of do some of those comparisons with the Daniel Smith line. I don't know if I would buy that. Roman Black Earth, PBK 11. Believe it or not, I like to buy some blacks because certain ones just have a cool little finish to them. Not this one though. Ivory Black. Let's see what PBK 9. That's kind of what I would expect for that, to be honest. All right, Slate Gray, PBK 19. Kind of interested on this one. Yeah, that's as mixed up as it's gonna get. It's just a very light one. All right, Titanium White, PW6. There's really not going to be much to see here because I don't have a black line, but you can see how much it covers up the lettering. However, it is wet. It looks like they do have an metallic pigment, PY43 for antique gold. Oh, yep, you can see the metallic in there just swishing. Interesting. All right, let's let those dry and then we'll take a look at the, what is it, 80 I said, colors. And then we'll go from there. So when doing these dot cards, there's two things, maybe three, that I like to kind of assess with you guys. One, is it worth the price? I will leave a link to Jackson's listing for this in the description below, by the way. And then also, overall, what do I think of their line of paints? And then, yeah, some favorites and whatnot. So, is it worth the price? This is one of the more expensive dot cards. However, I'm glad they have it because their paints alone are very expensive. So yes, I would say it's worth it. However, there are some that did not seem to activate quite well. And then there was a lot of inconsistency in the amount of paint you got. Some dots were a little more generous than others. I mean, some were so paper thin, I don't think I'll be able to use them in comparison videos. In fact, this quinacridone gold is one of them, so I'm kind of bummed. I'll still try to use it when I do that comparison, but just FYI. That said, that is like something to keep in mind, but they did send it on nice paper. Unlike the My Mary Blue ones I got, I'm gonna have to swatch them into a book. But so at least I could swatch them on here and just keep them in one place. And then of course, like I said, it lets me try out colors so I can see what I would buy. I am kind of curious if this color really looks like this if you get it out of the pan. But unfortunately, because of the way of some of the performance in the dot card, I'm not really interested in buying the paint for that one either. So it has narrowed down quite a bit in that regards. When it comes to colors, I definitely like from them. I'm not gonna lie, I do like their lemon yellows. I want to do a lemon yellow comparison video. I love this ruby red. Gosh, it is beautiful. I do like their quinacridones. Anyone who's watched me long enough knows I'm quinacridone junkie. I do enjoy their magenta and quinacridone violet. Dragon's Blood I was not impressed with at all. Honestly, it was kind of a funky color. Quite a few of these are chalky too. Now I know they're a handmade and honey-based watercolor, so I'm kind of curious some of what they use in there, because there are sometimes you'll get handmade paints that have kind of a chalkier feel, and it's just something with their recipe. But I do like their dioxazine violet, and I love the granulation of this color here. It is beautiful. So it's really pretty. Blue-wise, this transparent cerulean and azuro are gorgeous. This midnight blue, I think I'm gonna snag if I can ever get a good deal on these paints. They're teal and copper blue. Too much, I don't want the white in there. They just get too opaque and chalky. But this aquamarine is really pretty. This harbor blue is really pretty too, once it finally dried. Their dark forest and forest green aren't too shabby, but probably not something I would buy. In fact, their cooler greens are kind of disappointing for me. I guess I already have greens that would be just fine, so I don't need to spend money on them. Now, earthy greens, or the warmer greens, I do like their sap green, but it's pretty, it has a lot of opacity to it. And honestly, I don't know, one, I would not call that sap green, but I'm not so impressed I would buy it. Their olive green deep, however, once that started to separate, look at that color. Can you see that? The blue and everything popping through there? That is nifty. I might have to buy me one of those. Their browns were okay. A lot of them did not activate as well, so that was something to keep in mind. None of their browns really stand out as something I would buy because I already have enough from other brands. I did love their indigo and their Payne's gray though. That Payne's gray is really pretty. I've already done a comparison video of Payne's gray, but I do like theirs. It's really nice. The Venetian red actually is nice, and so is this Perylene maroon. The quinacridone gold is not bad. So yeah, I mean, overall, they have some really nice colors in here. Now, even though, you know, the dot cards are more expensive for this one, I think it's totally worth it because, like I said, this is a brand that has been hard to get a hold of until only recently, and by that I mean, like, what, last year? Maybe the year before that? I don't know. Compared to other brands that you can just buy anywhere. So it's nice that they're more available. It's nice they have a dot card. Plus that way I can kind of check and see these colors. These are artist grade paints though. I know a lot of people for a while, because they were only on like Etsy and stuff like that, thought, oh, it's not, you know, something I can use in my artwork. No, by any means. These are definitely something you can. They have done light fast testing on them. So they're not too shabby at all. I wouldn't say I was like blown out of the water by them by any means, but that's also because I've tried so many paints in my life. I think I found my favorite, so it's hard to kind of like go, ooh. But yeah, these are the dot cards from Gallo. Like I said, gorgeous packaging with like the folder and the protection you get on these. And I'm hoping I'll be able to use these in some upcoming comparison video series. And then I'll probably try and swatch my My Merry Blue colors before I do another comparison video. If not, I'll just pull a color off that dot card and use it. But yeah, let me know if you use the Gallo. Do you use them regularly? I'd be very curious to know who uses these paints regularly. You know, I tend to lean towards Roman Schmal in most of my palettes, with a mixture of Daniel Smith. But I would be curious to know how many people use these ones as like one of their go-to paint brands and what you think. And also if some of these tend to not re-wet well in the pans as well, or if it's just the dot card. I'd love to know that just for those watching, because I do not own any pans from this brand yet. So yeah, thanks everyone for hanging out with me for a nice relaxing swatch session words. And until next time, take care. Bye now.